Some groups of experts urge the Central Bank of Nigeria to protect customers' deposits on digital banks. Independent National Electorate Commission declares KEBBI State gubernatorial election as inconclusive. EFCC arrests 20 persons for alleged vote buying in Kwara State. And in business news, federal government has raised 10.1 trillion naira from the collection of value-added tax under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And on international news, Angolan president holds security talks with his counterpart of Democratic Republic of Congo. And on sports news, 6 players arrive at Super Eagles camp for Guinea-Bissau opens in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. This is Standard Voice Television News. I am Rahama Ibrahim Disa with the news in full. Groups of experts in Nigeria have called on the Central Bank of Nigeria on the need for regulation and transparency of digital banks to protect customers' deposits. This caution is coming amid the recent cash shortage in Nigeria that has seen a large percentage of Nigerians turn to digital banks, which mostly operate with mobile apps for their banking activities. Reports disclose that most digital banks often used by Nigerians are operating under the license of microfinance banks, which can pose problems to customers in the long run, knowing full well that the majority of these digital banks do not have the licenses to operate in the country. It would be recalled that in November 2020, the Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the license of 42 microfinance banks. The CBN made it clear that these 42 microfinance banks have been out of operation for some time, and so the revocation was necessary to protect citizens' deposits. There are concerns that the high rates of usage of these banks' apps, which experts disclose, might pose a serious challenge in the future as much is not known about them. Most do not have physical buildings where one can go to make complaints or inquiries, and their customer care lines are disclosed to be somewhat unreliable, unlike traditional banks. Independent National Electorate Commission has declared the KEBBI State gubernatorial election as inconclusive. The collation and returning officer of the election, Professor Yusuf Saidu of the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, announced the position at the collation center situated at INEC headquarters in Birnin Kebbi. Professor Saidu said the measures became necessary because there were breaches of electoral laws that led to cancellation of results in polling units of 20 out of the 21 local government areas due to violence, disruption of election materials, and overvoting. Supporters of the leading political parties, APC and PDP, had gathered at INEC office in Birnin Kebbi, hoping to hear their candidate announced winner, only to have their joy and sorrow delayed as no date had been fixed for the supplementary elections. Before declaring the election inconclusive, APC was leading PDP with 388,258 votes against 342,980 votes. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested 20 persons for alleged involvement in vote buying during the governorship and House of Assembly elections in Kwara State. Among the arrested is an assistant presiding officer. According to the head of the Ilorin Zonal Office of the EFCC, Michael Nzekwe, the suspects were arrested in different parts of the state. Speaking with journalists while parading the suspects in Ilorin, the assistant commander of the EFCC, Michael Nzekwe, said that the suspects were arrested in parts of Iropodun, Ilorin West, and Ilorin South local government areas of the state during the governorship and House of Assembly polls. Nzekwe said that the Commission acted on credible intelligence to effect the operation. Items recovered from them include cash, points of sales machines, phones and exercise books where account details of suspected beneficiaries of the vote buying are written. Troops have killed 60 terrorists in Borno State over election day attacks. According to the Punch, the military in Borno State averted what could have been a major governorship and state assembly election day tragedy by foiling an attempted attack by the Islamic State's West Africa province on the Mafa local government area collection center in the state. Reports gathered that the terrorists attempted to infiltrate the army base serving as a collation center for the March 18th elections. According to the sources, troops swiftly mobilized and confronted the terrorists, instantly killing 60 of them in a fierce gunfight. Military sources in Maiduguri said the terrorists stormed Marfa town in gun trucks and motorcycles around 2 a.m. and headed towards the military base where the collection of votes for the local government area was ongoing. Troops of Operation Hardin Kai launched a counter-attack operation which was supported by Air Force fighter jets deployed for aerial bombardment on the fleeing terrorists, killing a large number while some of them fled with fatal wounds. Operation Hardin Kai Theater Command sources confirmed that apart from the 60 caps of the terrorists, troops recovered a Hilux vehicle, several weapons and ammunition from the fleeing terrorists. Independent National Electoral Commission has declared candidate of the new Nigeria's People's Party, Abba Kabir Yusuf, as winner of the Kano State gubernatorial election on Monday, 20th March 2023. Abba defeated his closest rival Nasri Yusuf Gawuna of the All Progressive Congress APC. The winner scored 1,190,602 votes, while the second scored 890,705 votes. In a related development, Kano State government has imposed curfew with a view to avoid breakdown of law and other following tensions generated from the collation of results of the governorship and the state assembly elections.
Yusuf Abba Kabir of NNPP scored 1,019,602 votes. That Yusuf Abba Kabir of NNPP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Dated this day, 20th March 2023. Thank you very much.
The State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Malam Muhammad Garba, made the announcement in a statement issued Monday morning. He said the decision was to prevent hoodlums from causing chaos in the already tensed situation. The commissioner called on people in the state to remain indoors as security agents would not spare anyone or group bent on causing trouble. Bandits have shot dead the senior wife of the chief imam of nomadic central mosque in Rugan Ardu, Isiaku Adamu, after collecting ransom. Mrs. Huleira Hussein Ardu was shot dead after the bandits collected 2 million naira as ransom. It could be recalled that bandits had on February 11, 2023, kidnapped 4 wives of Malam Hussein Ardu at Rugan Ardu in Kagarko local government area in Kaduna and killed the chief imam Isiaka Adamu of nomadic central mosque in Rugan Ardu. The Madaki of Janjala, Samaila Babangida, has confirmed the killing and said the community was mourning the killing of their chief's wife, other than that the bandits refused to release the corpse. According to him, the ransom of 2 million naira was paid for the release of the 4 wives, but the senior wife was shot by the bandits while the remaining 3 wives were released. He said it was after the ransom was taken to the bandits with the assurance to set free the 4 wives of the chief that the leader of the bandits shot and killed the senior wife and set free the remaining 3. As of the time of filing this report, the police public relations officer DSP Muhammad Jaligi did not respond to calls and a text message sent to him. And on business news, federal government has raked in 10.1 trillion naira from the collection of value-added tax under the administration of the President, Muhammadu Buhari. This comes against the backdrop of the advice by the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, that the incoming government should increase the value-added tax from the current 7.5% to 10%. The VAT is a 7.5% consumption tax administered by the Federal Inland Revenue Service when goods are purchased and services are rendered, and it is borne by the final consumer. Revenue generated from value-added tax is usually disbursed to the three tiers of government through the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee. An analysis of reports obtained from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that the VAT earnings continued to rise annually throughout the 8-year period. The country earned 759.4 billion naira in 2015, 777.5 billion naira in 2016, 972.4 billion naira in 2017, and 1.1 trillion naira in 2018. Value-added tax collection in 2019 amounted to 1.2 trillion naira, 1.5 trillion naira in 2020, 2.1 trillion naira in 2021, while 2.5 trillion naira was paid in 2022. The significant increase in VAT collection in the past 2 years is not unconnected with the decision by the federal government in 2020 to increase the VAT rate from 5% to 7.5%. This was part of the tax reforms included in 2019 Finance Act meant to help the government achieve its revenue projections. Meanwhile, economists have cautioned against raising the VAT from 7.5% to 10% by the incoming administration, as they argued that it would stifle the country's economic growth. And on international news,
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Angolan President João Lourenço has held a 3-hour private meeting in Luanda on Saturday with his Democratic Republic of Congo counterpart Felix Tshisekedi. The talks came a day after the Angolan parliament approved a year-long deployment of up to 500 soldiers to the troubled Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. But Luanda said the contingent would only be moved when it was certain that the right conditions existed in the cantonment areas. Angolan Minister of State and Head of Military Francisco Furtado said a delegation of the ad hoc mechanism, which includes military officers, is visiting the areas to confirm that all is in order. The troops will help to maintain peace in areas held by the M23 rebel group. The militia resumed fighting at the end of 2021 and have conquered large swaths of territory in the DRC's North Kivu province. Angola's president played a key mediation role in trying to end the conflict, but the latest ceasefire he negotiated collapsed earlier this month on the same day it was due to take effect. The Democratic Republic of Congo has accused Rwanda of backing the mostly Congolese Tutsi group, a charge that Kigali denies. And on sports news, Super Eagles player on Monday started arriving the team's John Woods Hotel camp, Abuja, to prepare for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying doubleheader against Guinea-Bissau. Alex Iwobi, Ademola Lookman and Joe Aribo were among the arrivals. The other players in camp are Kelechi Iheanacho, Kevin Akpoguma and Semi Ajayi. More players are expected in the team's camp on Monday. Head coach Jose Peseiro has invited 23 players for the qualifiers. The Super Eagles will host the Jottas at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja on Friday. The reverse fixture will hold next week Monday at the 24th the September National Stadium, Bissau. And that's all we have for today, but before we go, let's take a recap of the major headlines. Some groups of experts urge the Central Bank of Nigeria to protect customers' deposits on digital banks. Independent National Electorate Commission declares KEBBI State gubernatorial election as inconclusive. EFCC arrests 20 persons for alleged vote buying in Kwara State. And in business news, federal government has raised 10.1 trillion naira from the collection of value-added tax under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And in international news, Angolan president holds security talks with his counterpart of Democratic Republic of Congo. And on sports news, 6 players arrive as Super Eagles camp for Guinea-Bissau opens in Abuja. On behalf of the production team, Head of News and Current Affairs, I am Mohammed Ibrahim. This is saying bye for now and keep watching Standard Voice Television.